In clear weather, winds aren't much of a factor. Winds are only a factor if they are blowing across the runway and not down the runway. But in rain or snow or any condition that slickens the runway, tolerance for a crosswind decreases. It becomes that much harder for a pilot to stay on the center line of the runway without skidding, especially when landing a large plane at 150 miles an hour. Each airline has an FAA-approved formulas and tables it uses to determine the maximum crosswind. If a severe winter storm hits and causes ice on the runways, even a moderate crosswind could exceed the limits and make takeoff or landing unsafe. Here is an example of a plane attempting to take off in a crosswind. As the airplane is ascending into the air, you can see which direction the crosswind is coming from. Here is an example of an airplane landing in the crosswind. You can see in the background there are trees moving, which is evidence of the wind. Light or moderate snow will not stop operations. A heavy snowfall, however, can cause cancellations. Even planes that have been de-iced need to reach the runways, which often require heavy plowing. Pilots could face difficulties generating flying speed in slush or standing water over half an inch deep, or when there's too much snow accumulation. In these conditions, the drag on the aircraft tires can be so great that the plane is unable to take off before the runway ends. Here is an example of an airplane taking off in snow. The snow has no obvious effect on the airplane. At this point, the airplane is turning around and starting to take off. It's obvious how much snow there is because the camera is hardly picking up the airplane at all. It seems as if the snow didn't affect the airplane's taking off. One thing airplanes don't fly in is freezing rain. If an airport is hit with rain when temperatures are near freezing point, airport authorities will consider shutting it down. The reason for this is aircraft can gather ice faster than de-icing equipment can remove it. Ice can cause many problems on every other part of the airport operations. An aircraft can lose traction in the ice, making it difficult to control. Critical equipment can freeze and braking can become uncertain, if not impossible, when there is ice involved. Turbulence is simply an irregular flow of air that often occurs unexpectedly and usually cannot be seen. It is caused by a variety of different conditions, such as flying in the vicinity of thunderstorms, flying through clouds, flying over mountains, flying at high altitudes near jet streams, flying in or close to a weather front, and flying in between air masses of differing temperatures. Flying in turbulence is no more dangerous than driving along a bumpy road. It can be uncomfortable, but it will not cause damage to the aircraft, and the only way it can possibly cause harm to passengers or crew is if they insist on walking around the cabin and risk stumbling or falling. You will find that pilots will switch on the fasten seatbelt sign if they are expecting or experiencing turbulence on the flight. This is for your comfort as well as your safety. Turbulence and bad weather can be avoided by communication with the air traffic control centers. Previous flights warned the control center of weather so that the routes can be altered for the smoothest flight possible. Bad weather causes 70% of all delays, and, according to the FAA, summer storms are worse. Unlike winter storms, which take time to develop and move slowly, summer storms can form quickly and stretch for hundreds of miles and travel rapidly over large portions of the country. This radar carries out 7 tilts of the system's 30-inch antenna about every 30 seconds. It's rated to probe as far as 370 miles straight ahead to show the en route weather picture. It also detects turbulence and predicts lightning and hail. It automatically scans from the ground up to 60,000 feet to provide information targeted at various altitudes. All of this is extremely helpful for possible reroutes ahead of time compared to constant delays in the airport. It is also safer during flights so something unexpected does not occur.